remind everybody what is on the line here in this matchup. We're one of the last few matches going on here today. Loser is eliminated from Major 3. Winner moves on to tomorrow to our top 8. Andy, it's the Boston Breach, my hometown team. It's the Paris Gentlemates, your love that you have. Let's get it started here. It's a Gridlock Hardpoint P1 up and running.
Not working himself in early. Neptune's trying to make a flank play through showers. We get a lot of information, but it won't really help on Boy's Perch. Finds him, and a two-piece Afro with one. Sip's going to be by his lonesome and doesn't clean up nasty, so largely the guys in green winning the opening engagements, and the mental battle begins. And reminder, the Paris Gentlemates, they lost this against Breach last time out. They've then just had to run a gauntlet to get themselves past Project Notorious. They don't want this to be a series that drags out. There can't be much left in the tank. That being said, Breach, after their loss against Thieves and the manner in which that loss came about, you're going to be reeling just a little bit. You want to get off to a strong start.
Listen, hey, guess what? We're back in the MLG days, baby, because you've been ripping series all day long, non-stop. Gentlemates have barely had a time to breathe. Breach, they've been waiting in the wings after the 3-0 loss to FaZe. An Eater to come on up. A P2, here we go. It's back and forth trades all the way through. You get some close spawns if you are the Boston Breach. You want to try and push this forward, and I like this Afro just trying to play his life. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get the kills you need. And some close spawns coming in from the Gentlemates. Allow them to start to flood this P2, gain control, and get back into the game.
Yeah, Gentlemates do well there, just playing through the north side, prioritize the spawn situation. Although you won't win the initial engagements, you continue to flood. That being said, you're flooding onto the end of Afro, who is ripping 3 in a row to start 6 and 3, lock down a whole chunk of time. Boston Breach starting off, that means that they wait to continue and will get themselves pushed out as well.
Sense a little bit of hesitation from the Gentlemates off the spawn there. Do we want to fly at this, or do we maybe want to just try and hold this rotation on over to P3? You kind of do neither at the time. It's let's make a late hold and then just get absolutely ripped apart. The only person left alive is still Ghosty onto that new, and he's going to get found. Nasty, going to be your entry point onto the new hill. He's going to be able to find some kills, and it's a late rotation from Spart. He might be able to get some of these picks on the way through.
I'm going to be honest with you, the minimap's ugly, spawns all over the place. No one's really going to be reading this. Neptune gets one in showers, then is traded. 3 kills will be found for Breach, so this rotation will now allow them to set up into something defensive. Sib's going to be the first to meet, but he's on his own. He's by himself. No one's going to be able to trade that, and as such, Breach will just lock this down, saunter towards that 100-point marker.
The KDs are not looking good for the Paris Gentlemates at this moment in time. 90-13 right now, as we are getting ready to come to the end of P3, but 3 kills in the feed. That's a way to maybe start this. Get a little bit of time on the board, but the spawns will come on through, all towards that southern side of the map. Boston Breach setting up for P4.
Yeah, they just decided to rotate early. Envoy thinks he has a bit of a bead. Absolutely nothing handed over. Neptune in the house, just trying to slow this, not allow a setup to come through. You do still have L control if you're Breach and one body inside, and that kill there. There's going to be Neptune's under instant pressure. At least you do have Envoy in the backline, but at 4 and 11, he's got to start doing something. And Breach are looking great through these early sand hills.
I love this. The Breach are just playing together. Afro and Nasty joining up in forces. They've been on many teams together, and I think you're starting to see some of that chem come to fruition as they've been doing such a great job of holding this entire back. Unfortunately, while you're back here dealing with all of these kills, it's a hit from the front side. You're getting some of those close spawns, so it's A-okay. But Boston Breach will continue to hold the hill and continue to run up this lead.
The further it gets out in front of you, the more Paris are going to feel like they have to pump the gas, often into then desperation plays, might lead to even more mistakes. The problem right now for them as well is, yes, you're going to soak up a little bit of scrap time here, but Boston have been kind of comfortable just to contest this and then rotate on out early. Now an Afro's going to find 2, Purge with another, and yes, Neptune gets 1, but doesn't stay alive for very long. So the 10 seconds are going to actually go to Boston. You're going to be just shy of 100 points, maybe more like 90 points up as we head to the second set. Not a scoreline we would have expected. And Paris, they've got to begin to climb that mountain in front of them right now, otherwise this is getting away from you.
Shout out Study, man. Playmaker Purge already continuing to find the kill. 17 and 7 on the 4 spree here. Second set of rotations, P1. Boston Breach did such a great job of racking up so much time on that first set. This was an opportunity for Gentlemates to get back on in. They haven't been able to crack this open.
They are. Neptune's beginning to hit a flank play here. Going to arrive through connector in a moment. Would have the timing, but needs his boys to stay alive on the front for it to actually matter, and they do not. So although Neptune's going to get at least one here, the boys can turn and face. It actually gives Ghosty an opportunity to get involved a little bit, and there will be a contest come through. It starts to become the conversation about P2 with just 18 seconds left on this. Paris will have that spawn in control, but you lose the fight here at P1. There's a straight route towards that backside if you're Boston.
Yeah, nasty. He's starting to float towards this bottom side of the map, though. Look at scrap time on the P1. Thankfully, will get found on out. Ghosty is good for 2. You have Afro, though. He's in here. In through the shop, laying. He's waiting for the right time to come on through. The unfortunate, he's here by himself, but he's going to be able to pop out on, finds Envoy. He's looking for one more. Purge, he's trying to be able to flood on in through the back. All 4 members of Boston Breach here can encircle this point, start to fly on forward, get these kills, go your way. Ghosty dropped, Neptune dropped, Afro 22 and 8.
It's a reminder of the first set of rotations. Barris had the spawns. Boston Breach didn't give a damn. And they are taking over here. Everyone positive. Purge by 8. Afro absolutely reaping. You called it yourself. 1:23 in hill time as well. Doing it all with the AR in hand. Give him 6. The Hellstorm to boot as well. Paris have absolutely nothing in reply.
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to see the sort of signs of life from the Paris Gentlemates that we saw in that last series where they turn on the afterburners. They finally start playing COD like you should, but it feels like the pressure from the Boston Breach is just too much. It's a fantastic P2. You look over at P3. Gentlemates, they have the spawns, but Breach, they're already starting to migrate over. Here comes the Hellstorm.
Certainly does. Going to send body scrapping inbound. Sib's going to do very well to at least peel off Nasty early. You're going to find a 2-and-2 split on the kill feed. Afro calls it in, rains it down, just keeps the hill neutral for a moment, just avoids you giving up a couple of important seconds, and now you start to flood it through the front and meet in the showers.
Afro tries to be tipping the spear, will get cut down by Sim. The rest of the team flying on forward. It's a team kill that will help you on out. Spart lines up Envoy and Neptune. Purge able to activate, finds Ghosty. You had the setup, it does get broken. It's only 20 or so seconds, but if you're Breach, you're happy with any of this time. You have such an insane lead right now. It literally doesn't matter. They're holding the line. They are forcing the Gentlemates to fly at this hill. The problem is, Enigma, you then still have to think about new.
You most certainly do. And Neptune finds 3. Doesn't matter in the end because all the bodies are around you. It will just mean that Boston Breach, hold on, Gentlemate's going to have the control over the back spawns. I don't know for how much longer though, because Nasty's just found Sid and Afro has a route.
It's only 1 player left on the point. You do have Neptune getting a little bit lost in this back spawn here, but Afro and Nasty, they'll join forces, try and take that one on out. Do you have the trades come on through? You do. Boston Breach break open this hill. You only need 18 more seconds. Purge gonna try and find Envoy in the cut. The NPCs will be firing. 22 and 17 for Mr. Purge himself, as you are able to try and lock up map number 1. 5 more seconds as the kills will fall. One last flurry of kills. It's 4 dead from the Gentlemates. You've been able to do it, but Enigma, only 2 more seconds needed from the Breach.
Yeah, and as Neptune looks to try and contest the middle, Afro cleans him up. You've got Sib on a big wide rack. Yeah, there's one. Transfers beautifully onto the second, but you need the boys to arrive on the opposite side. Reminder, just 2 seconds required for Breach. You got to be here right now.
P1 will pop. Spart, he's here. Jaeger in hand. Purge lines up for 2. It's a do-si-do around the middle bus. Afro finds another 2-piece. Will slide on into the point. Gentlemate's not able to get there in time. Map number 1. Not only is it a Breach win, Andy, that's a Breach win by a hefty mile.
It's a Breach win by a bloody country mile. I'm going to sit and try and analyze and tell you about the ways in which these 2 teams perform. It doesn't matter. You're going to look at the kill board in a minute and you're going to see that not a single Paris player is positive. Most of them aren't even remotely close. In fact, I need to check that Envoy, he does eventually get 14. Wasn't long ago, it was like 9 and 24.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you play the map if you can't win a damn gunfight.
Sib, only one kind of close at 20 and 28, which is great to see him kind of continuing to shoot after it took him a while in that last search and destroy against Project Notorious. But this is a new series, this is a new team, okay? You have to continue to find the kills where you can. And I think you brought up the exact stat that all we needed to hear of maybe why we see that type of stat line. Of all of these maps, the Gentlemates have already played a majority of them and have lost a majority of them, continuing that same tradition with map 1.
Yeah, all 4 that remain in this series, you have lost all 4 of them today. So
that's not great.
Gridlock was the one that was supposed to hang in the balance, and Boston said to hell with that. And it's easy for me to, all right, pick at Paris and kind of like where their scoreboard didn't look pretty.
Sure.
Credit over to Boston, right? I know there's a lot of conversations about Purge and where he belongs at the minute. He has a great game. Afro really lit up, reflecting in very well. Points on the NPC, points on the AR. Felt like he was controlling everything. You talk about the P2, that Paris were locking down consistently on the spawn side of things, losing those gunfights over and over.
Yes.
Both times, Afro went nuclear.
Yeah, and it was also many, many times what was allowing Afro to go nuclear was Nasty, just being right there. The SMGs just playing so close up with each other, just trying to be able to work anything. It was always, hey, Nasty's going to slide in. He'll probably make at least 1 or 2 a week. In Afro, it was just 2-piece on 2-piece on 2-piece, and it's because Nasty is able to be there, lay down that damage. But the hardpoint, done and dusted. We got to turn our eyes to search and destroy. We are staying on Gridlock with this S&D.
We are, but this is the map that you lost to the Boston Breach the last time out. So Paris, it doesn't get any easier. The task only grows ever taller. For the Boston Breach, this is much more like it. And we've said a lot about this team, the struggles that they faced online.
Yes.
They actually came into this major, of course, with a great run in the end, seeing off some pretty big sides, but Paris themselves. So you end up in a situation where, all right, right now, you just simply have the number of this team that's supposed to be far superior to you. And also, feels like they're growing on land as well, and that's a hell of a thing to be able to do, because at the end of the day, it's land call of you, baby. That's what matters.
That is exactly what matters. I mean, I loved the interview that Nasty was able to give, you know, obviously in the lead up here in the last match of qualifiers, where he just said, you know, I know it doesn't seem like it, but I can tell you that we are getting better every single day in scrims, and I think you're starting to see a lot of that hard work starting to come on through. I will kind of yuck my own yum a little bit, because I think the question mark is always going to be, can Purge perform? Because we saw, obviously, in this first series between Breach and Gentlemates, Purge was lighting it up. They move on to fight LA Thieves. Purge is kind of nowhere to be seen, right? And so it's just, I need him to be a little bit more consistent. I think that this is a great series to kind of prove you have that consistency, give him the confidence that he's going to need when you make it, if they make it, into that bracket on Saturday.
Yuck my own yum?
Yeah.
What does that one mean?
It means I'm not going to, like, I don't know, like make my own stuff bad. Or
okay. Learn something new every day. Anyway, no, you are completely
right.
Don't
act like you don't have some stupid sayings.
Well, okay, fair enough. Yeah, all right. But it is a case, you're right to bring up Purge. It's a case of, you know, you can, an X Factor is a great thing when you're on the right side of that. It's awful when you're on the wrong side of that. You essentially weigh the entire team's performance in your hands. He had a great map 1. Got to bring that again in map 2. Paris Gentlemates, we've just watched them pull off the impossible in that round 11, in that game 5 that they just had against Notorious. I'd say a tougher team in front of you right now, especially with how Boston have looked. But they're going to throw in a B hit early here. Again, investing in not only the round itself, but the later gameplay.
Well, Nasty, he's going to be the player to be a little bit up. Thankfully, even though you do get stunned, you get all the information that you need that, hey, it's some heavy movement over towards this B site. Bomb will get planted pretty quickly. But it's fast wraps coming out from the Boston Breach. And I like what we're seeing here from Spart and Nasty. They don't have to scam. Just go ahead, throw some shoulders, get some shots on out, bring over so much of that attention onto this side. Spart finally will be able to go up, finds Neptune, but Sid will be able to bring down Nasty. So you have Spart still just in that top house, Afro at range. You're looking for one more. It's just Envoy, and you might have just seen him there with a little bit solid. Shots go out, pistol hits. You're gonna hot bomb. You're not gonna be able to. Spark gets the kill. Doesn't matter. Gentlemates still on the board.
It makes it messy at a certain moment there, but Envoy does enough to stay alive for a long time. I mean, Spart felt like he had to come and support Afro. Maybe Afro throws his life thinking that Spart's on that bomb. I'm not sure. It looked like a bit of a miscommunication between them, but either way, Envoy, you do clutch up in the 1v2, potential 1v3 coming through there. Either way, gets you over the line. A concerted hit out of Paris. The one thing that you do lose, the silver lining if you're Boston, Spart's 4-0, so that's a great start. Maybe let him sit in the back line here, push you closer to a help stall.
Yeah. I mean, Yilson, you and I got to watch Spark kickstart this year down in Challengers on none other than the Telluride Bush.
Bush, baby.
There was a couple of games where this young man, he was pulling out the sniper, and I'm waiting to see it on Gridlock. We watched a number of people today do absolute work with it on this map. We could wait to see, but where he's so close to a Hellstorm, love to see him play a little bit more cautiously, play around some of your teammates. Nade's starting to get up over the top. You see the flak notification, so you know that that nade hit on something. Unfortunately, Ghosty, he finds a great timing there. Shots come on through. The rest of the team will surge on forward. It's just Nasty and Purge left alive for the breach. Bomb ease it down. Can you manage to find them? No, you cannot. Gentlemen, so secure round number 2, this time off of actually getting the kills.
Yeah, lovely patience out of Gentlemates there. Again, we're willing to ask Boston to force the equation, ask them the questions. And when they didn't, they just simply tapped away at them. Neptune does well, slipping and sliding. You'd expect him to with an NPC inside of Showers, but it's also that pinch play coming in early. Once you get the numbers advantage, very aggressive, recognizing we don't want to give an opportunity to throw this away. We must be there for the trades at the very least. So much better from Paris. Sip considered the sniper for a moment. Looks like he's going to run the M15 instead. And Breach did lose spot, of course, in that round, so no Hellstorm.
I kind of like it, right? You don't need to bring the sniper out just yet. You've won 2 rounds in a row, doing pretty good without it. Run as many rounds as you can, and then use it as that surprise factor if you want to go ahead and try and bring that out. But here we go, round number 3. Gentlemates will be on the offense this time. Envoy starting to flirt maybe with B. Nasty going to continue to be over there, but I like where Breach is set up. It's a nice wide spread. The question is, though, can the Gentlemates find the crack that they're looking for?
Stun won't catch. Might actually get Afro a little bit of time, and second doesn't either, so he's not been spotted yet.
Oh, good shots. He's not able to find the second, but that is bombed down. It's enough time for Spart to be able to slide on out alongside Purge. It's a 3v2. Sib and Neptune, they got to play together. They will retrieve the bomb, but Boston Breach, they are flying as a unit. It's just Sib, M15 in hand. So at least does a good job to find Purge, but it's Spart and Nasty. A lot of guns laying on the ground here. Time is ticking. Not going to matter.
No, you do wonder if Sib could have rotated over, done something different there instead of continued send. Maybe he's trying to bait Boston into a rotation and isolate a fight, turn it into a 1v1, a very manageable situation. But I think if you are Boston, the call-out comes through. It's Sib. That's who's last alive. You know he's coming back for that shell, so you lay in wait. Spark cleans that up, gets one on the board. 2-1 in favor of Paris. I wonder if you end up bringing out something different here if you are Gentlemates. We saw the consideration of the sniper. Spot says, you know what? I'll actually bring my boomstick to the party.
Let's go ahead. Let's see it. I've seen this guy hit some nasty wall bounces on Colossus. Can he do the same here on Gridlock? Good nade. He won't. Yep, it's a nade right at the feet. No sniper for you. Great read from the Gentlemates.
Sib's going to read Purge. Couple of tags, backs him off. Defensive team, you can lane wait. And Envoy wanted probably all of that out of Nasty. Thought you were about to get turned on. Afro will be there for the trade, but still hold the numbers advantage. Nade might have been perfect. Neptune gets across though. Going to regroup if you are Boston. Paris might actually be fully aware bombs down.
And you can see Purge has an NPC in the back pocket, also picked up Spart's recon. So you have an opportunity, but while this 2v2 is brewing on this side, look at your minimap, ladies and gentlemen. Sib, he's on the flank, and you got to get there if you are Sib. For a little bit of help, not even needed, though. You win the 2v2 game. Gentlemates 3-1.
It's a nervy moment, that, though, because you find the first if you are Boston. Had they gotten Ghosty, Sib wasn't in a position to trade. Turns it into a 1v1, of course. That then hangs very much so up in the air. But Ghosty does enough. Great transfer onto the second. If you're Paris again, I'm curious. We've seen now a 2-2 split. We've seen different hits.
Yep.
We have seen, of course, those set nades roll through.
Yes.
Quite a few options in terms of their plays. I'm just wondering when they start to play for some sort of mid-map control. That hasn't been their game plan thus far.
I worry here. I'm looking at some of these scores, right? I'm looking at Boston Breach. It's Spartan Afro. They're the only ones kind of finding some success here in this S&D. Well, as I say that, Purge, he's good for 1, 3 dead for the Gentlemates. It's now just Ghosty in a 1v3. Bomb down on the site. They have Spartan Afro. They can work together here. A couple of early shots. They know exactly where Ghosty's playing now. And, well, look who's on the pinch. It's only a matter of time till maybe Nasty decides to lurk on up. Doesn't even need it. Ego Chow comes on out. Boston Breach get their second on the board.
Yeah, well closed by Boston. Ghosty is looking for a Chow there. And Nasty and the Afro basically say to each other, I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to hit this as soon as I do. Be ready for the trade. Don't even need it in the end. Afro, great work from him. So you edge it one closer. And I'll be honest, I don't think like Paris need to invest in those big bang out hits. I think you have the ability to take control of maps without flipping a coin into the air, essentially. So I'm surprised they continue to let them happen. Boston certainly come out on top in them so far. And, well, looks like they want their day to dance in the shadows.
Well, they might find maybe a little bit of a surprise here, as it's only one player in Neptune. We'll get stunned on out. And look at this, Purge just flying on forward. Really wants to gain all of that ground immediately. The plant comes in from Nasty. Can Neptune find anything with this nade? No, nobody's home. I like that. Breach, they're gonna take the space, back on up. Leave Gentlemate's thinking. Here comes the push though. All three players into the side. Afro, he's just trying to play around this tree. You can't land the shots that you need to, but it's Purge. He flies on forward, and it's a team kill that comes on in. Purge in a 1v2 against Ghosty and Sib. Not going to be enough. Sib, solid little two-piece. They'll get the defuse.
Paris actually play this beautifully. So Boston get the rock down, and if you're Paris, what you decide to do is we're not going to try and pinch play this. That's what they're going to be expecting. Heads are going to be turned. They're going to be looking at all these different angles. We're just going to steamroll the front, win the gunfights heads up, especially while they're not looking our direction anyway.
Yep.
So you roll through that round, 4-2 up. And again, that is an investment later on, because Boston, if they end up in that situation again, they might be trying to just focus forward. Afro gets a lot of intel eventually, but it felt like a little bit too late for Boston to really react.
Yeah, you saw a couple of those early shots. You know, I think if you're able to get a pick with those few early shots, that fight plays entirely differently. But they now basically get that info. Okay, we got one person playing the planner. We now know how to kind of work this. That's there. So great job from the Gentlemates to be able to do that. 4-2 right now, ladies and gentlemen. As the mates themselves will pick up that bomb, and their timing is, well, hey, what you can do, we can maybe do better. But Afro, he's going to plant his roots immediately on that tree. The problem is Purge has been able to find a route into the back. Civ, Envoy, dropped, and it's just Ghosty alive in a 1v3. Plays through the mid, a couple of early shots. That's info that you're looking for. Boston Breach, they can just kind of swarm around this bomb.
Ghosty's going to ask for a couple of ones. Unlikely to get them as soon as they get that intel about where he's at. You're going to back off. Force Ghosty to come back at you. Down to 12 HP and a dream. 35 seconds left on this. Again, Boston not giving you the wiggle room.
Yep.
Nasty throws the shoulder. Nothing gained.
I like this, man. Yeah. Boston is just playing very passive, very patient. And there you go. Purge is going to slide on out, make him invest a lot of the bullets, and then Nasty is right there. Close that one on out.
Again, I go back to I don't understand why Paris is sending so many bodies towards showers. Now, I know that this is the typical hit that comes through for a lot of teams, but when we think back to the Plaza that they played, they weren't coming out on top in many of those 8-man hits. It was when they were more creative about their strategy. We've seen it inside this Gridlock as well. Obviously, you didn't get to cast the previous Gridlock S&D, but I'm going to assume largely the same story. Paris can throw different looks on these attack rounds. They don't need to consistently get involved on that A-bomb site the way they are. Boston gobbling up every single time. And honestly, they have looked great at the shots. They're going to go back over.
They'll go ahead, but it's 3 players from the Gentlemates. They're going to try and chow them there. First shot's coming out from Spart. You'll be able to back down a few of them. Purge with a nice little shoulder. Nade will come at the feet, slides on out. Unfortunately, Envoy and Ghosty, they are going to be your demise. It's just Nasty in a 1v3, making a 1v2, not looking the right way. Gentlemates, they'll be able to get that round. 5-3, 1 round away from evening up our series.
I'll happily stand partially corrected. Paris come out on top in this engagement. Felt like you end up with a timing there for Boston. One's cooking an aid, one's checking a different angle, and you start to body stack, you get cut down quickly, makes it a 4v2. So Paris trying to make amends for the Gridlock S&D that they lost in the first series against Boston, put themselves onto map point. Being said, we've already seen incredible comebacks today. Ship will bring the boomstick out, and I wonder if then this means a B hit, or at least it's going to mean B presence out of the man with the rifle.
I don't know if we'll see anybody home. It's just going to be Nasty, who's kind of trying to play the bomb site, and well, all right. You get the kill that you're looking for, 4v3. See Bomb already starting to maybe rotate over towards that B side. No, you're going to kind of fake it. You got Sib, he's made his way on up, but you have 3 members making their way towards that top shower side. It's just Spart as the last line of defense there. Afro does find Sip. That's a good pickup. Put this into a 3v3. Purge trying to stay his life. On his belly. Not going to be able to find it. Smart slides on forward and not going to be there. Gentlemates, they'll answer back. Much cleaner search and destroy than we have seen from the mates.
Yeah, definitely cleaner. That is without question. Their S&D has been questionable so far through this tournament. I think that's been incredibly kind. They managed to just about come over on top, of course, in that notorious game in around 11. But better this time out. You can see the first bloods. You walk away with 5 of the 9. That's a great thing. But look at these non-traded. If you're Paris Gentlemates, considerably in the lead there. And that's where you did enough to get over the line. And even in that final round, Sib, he's just essentially meant to be a distraction. Paris don't necessarily make it simple for themselves. They have so much presence over towards A. They could have gotten that bomb down pretty early, but they decided to go for the gunfights, take them on, get themselves tied up in the series. So great stuff. Coming into this series, honestly, we talked about the map pool. We talked about how this was probably going to look for the Paris side. Boston came out and absolutely smashed the first one to bits and very much so tipped the scale in their favor. With Gentlemates figuring out exactly how to improve between that first series and second series now, maybe it resets a little bit of what these other maps look like. Yeah,
no, I think it's a great call out. I think the fact that the Gentlemates can be able to come on in, they win this search and destroy, it gives them that sign of life, right? It's just like, hey, that's that one more map that we are going to force you to play. But like you mentioned, that first Hardpoint looked so good. I'm now kind of wondering as we get ready to move into another respawn, something like Exposure. If the Breach are shooting like they were in the Hardpoint, hey, you know what's a really easy way to score an Overload? Just wipe the enemy team so the zone is open. It's a great strategy.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Breach might be able to make that happen, set themselves up potentially for a nice little 3-1. But the mates, hey, anything is possible. They have surprised us time and time again. We're going to go ahead. We're going to head to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be jumping on into that Exposure Overload between the Boston Breach and the Paris Gentlemates.
Finish it, still got a little fight. I'ma finish it. 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 Little this, little that. Everyone pulling triggers full of max. Talking feces cause they full of that. Ain't really G's, they GNATs, they really just next. Scratch them off, power balls. Look at them spinning, they really spin offs. Getting me dizzy, give me a headache, maybe wanna tear my head off. I could really use the Tylenol. Candy rappers talking good and plenty, it's really too many to mention, but no, I'm tired of y'all. Suck to infinity, you could never be my enemy. You make me look good, I should be hiring y'all. I'm reborn, I'm basically the man again. Made the world stand still, they amazed. Frozen like mannequins. Kick the door off the hinges, make way. Someone needs banish shit. They ain't think I was able, but I'm came when it come to savageness. I'ma finish it. 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 Still got a little fight. 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 I'ma finish it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. CDL Major 3, the Pro-Am, coming at you live from DreamHack Atlanta. If you're just joining us, it's the Group C losers qualification match, and more importantly, a grudge match between the Boston Breach and the Paris Gentlemates series, tied up 1-1. We're here on the Exposure Overload, a map the Gentlemates historically have not looked great on.
No, they have. The last time these two teams played earlier on today, it was actually Gentlemates who came out on top in the Overload, but that was going to be on Scar. It required a Neptune 1.3 takeover game to get you there. The last time, however, we saw Gentlemates play on Exposure, they lost to Notorious, relatively convincingly too. However, Envoy getting off to a 5-0 start, that's not a bad way to provide Nep some help.
Not at all. That was our biggest ask, was saying, hey, get this guy Neptune some help. Every single member of the Gentlemates has stepped up so far into this series to make it a little bit more competitive this time around. So as we are here in the first half, you do have the Gentlemates on the quote-unquote good side, starting to make their way on over towards this B overload zone. Neptune here, Ghosty, gun in hand, and well, you're going to be able to score the first point of the half.
Certainly up. Start that you wanted to get off to, without doubt, and you pushed all the way up into the spawn. Breach being suffocated. And North map control for Gentlemates will allow them to roll this second one home, unless you're caught looking the wrong way. If you're Envoy, Neptune, you're going to have to make a desperate dive. Should get there, even though the stun connects. Afro will not arrive in time. So 2-0 start, pretty much perfect. If you are Paris for Boston, a little bit shell-shocked coming into this one.
Yeah, it's those quick back-to-back caps that you're looking for, especially here on Exposure. Just being able to slide that in on the B zone. You get that top spawn on in, you're controlling them, you're pushing them to that back-gen spawn, and next thing you know, you just get two quick caps. And, well, it looks like we're going to see almost a similar story here again for the Gentlemates. Nasty, he's going to be the one holding the line, slides on out. You find Sim, you find Envoy. Can you find Ghosty? No, you can't for Dead in the Feed. This is a quick 3-0 in this first half, my friend.
Certainly is. Envoy has slowed just a touch, but his incredible start gets them off to a blinder. Ghosty now 8-3, make that 9-3, 4 in a row. Great stuff. Tries to back off. Purge is going to at least hunt him out. but you have the device in possession again. Sip looking to just shift that backline around, fake the rotation over towards Solar, instead double stack the stairway. Afro's there for the trade at least, so device will be dropped. That being said, not exactly comfortable yet for Boston.
Nope, it's a little bit of a bang out on that P3 side. You will come out on top. You pick up the EMP device. Nasty gonna start to float it down towards A. The rest of the team, they're trying to play through that top side. You need to win some kills here though. Unfortunately, Neptune, he has been able to push on up and find your bomb carrier. The rest of your team, you're trying to make something happen through the mid. Purge, he's gonna be the guy to maybe get a little bit lost. Tip at the spear, can you play some offense here? Find some of these kills off the spawn. EMP will reset, back to the mid we go.
Purge tries to do a little bit too much, sees Neptune crossing out, tries to call that, and
This is free.
And loses. And yeah, I mean, obviously if the Paris gentlemen can see what we can see, they probably just send that home instead. Pause. Wait on this. You got a healthy lead, 3-0, a minute and 40 on the clock. Boston trying to set up the defensive play, but Ghosty, the man on the wrap, trying to basically be the go button.
11 and 5 for him. He will get found on out, so it's a little bit of a bang out towards that front side. Boston, they are here. Unfortunately, though, the Gentlemates, the guns are a little too hot. Envoy continuing to fire as a nice little 2 for him. He's going to pick up the EMP. All members of Boston, though, hot off the spawn, going to be able to drop it from you. But the Gentlemates, they can continue to flood this. A minute 15 onto the clock. All you need is a couple of kills to go your way. Ghosty might be the one to do it. 14 and 6. Can you find one more? You pick up the device, it's a pistol in hand, you just need to find it. Can you get the wall hop, end our first half? You sure as hell can.
Yeah, great stuff out of Gentlemates there. If you're Ghosty, you're trying to just buy time. Your teammates are arriving through tank and they're just popping nades over, bouncing it off the backboard and dropping them at the arriving defenders. The Boston Breach smoked off the map, essentially artilleried into the second half. And Envoy gets off to a great start here. I mean, we talked about it last time these two teams played earlier on today. Envoy a .81 in that series. Yeah. Just not enough. He is a glue player. He's often that guy that does a little bit of the dirty work, puts himself on the line. You're dropping a .9, forgivable as long as your team wins the series. .81 on the wrong side of that, that was definitely a place we needed to step up. 5 in a row to get you going. You move on through 4-0 up here. This is much more like it if you're a Paris fan. For Boston, it's a slow start, out of spot. 5 and 10, and everyone negative. If you're going to stand a chance in hell, that's got to look very different within the next 5 minutes.
Got to turn on the gas here in the second half. Now the Gentlemates, they're more than happy to basically just play a little lackadaisical, play some heavy defense if you want. Or play some heavy offense. 2 quick kills for you will help you pick up that EMP device, start moving it forward. But Afro's got a little lost here on the side. Oh, that's still Ghosty. Turns his eyes over towards that bottom area, continuing just to shoot, to find the kills that you need. Gentlemates will start to push their way up towards the opposing Solar side. A couple of kills go your way. We could see an easy kill come on through. It's a Hellstorm, but unfortunately, it's a Hellstorm with a team kill, but I don't know if it matters. Neptune, he gets a little bit close, but the defense is too good from Boston.
And Ghosty needs to make amends for whatever the hell that was. Gets dropped after picking up 5 in a row at least. And device going to be left where it is for now. Boston will be quite happy to just try and let this reset, get some mid-map pressure, but Gentlemates, of course, going to continue to fight for this northern side, because should a device be put home, they're then looking to drop a second in pretty much immediately. It's what they were so good at in the first half. Those kills will now get you a root. Purge and Spot are trying to rotate on over.
I like this. You slide on out. Good damage on the first. You find Envoy, but you just can't do enough. A 5th score on the board for the Gentlemates. Continuing to run this one on up. And with every score, it gets harder and harder for Breach to get back on in.
Doesn't feel like they have had any control over that device. Even if we were to remove actual possession, they've never really looked like they were going to get it in their hands. Neptune's going to dip outside of the map, tries a little bit of a move back in. Afro ready for it, cuts him. But 5-0, you're going to need a lot more of that if you are the team in green. Kills now should give you a root. Ghosty's on the heady, won't matter, so there's one in reply. 3 minutes, 4 goals, that's the task at hand now if you are Boston. And while it does seem like a very tall order, we've already watched miracles this afternoon.
That's a very good point. I would have loved that a lot more if they were able to cap the mid spawn and then get that top, tank spawn. But unfortunately, this does go down towards that P5 area, and just coming off the spawn is the Gentlemates. They're here. They're immediately picking up the device. And as far as they're concerned, hey, we're happy to run out the clock here. We're happy to just do whatever we can to put this device into enemy territory. Even if we don't get any more scores, it's okay. Neptune almost goes on a 4 spree, 3 of them being teammates.
Yeah, no, just decided to slaughter everything in front of him. Unfortunately, his boys had actually found him a roof, so yeah, we'll cut back on that one. Boston need to pick up this device to push forward. Mid-map control would be lovely. Purge isn't going to get it, though, from Envoy. And it feels like even if they do manage to scoop this device in the moment, because of how often Paris are just taking these gunfights, Boston do not have any clear passage. Afro's doing his best at 25 and 18. Gotta find more out of the other 3 gentlemen.
Yeah, he's finding a lot of kills. The only unfortunate part is they're not able to do anything with them, right? So play a little bit more together. Use those opening spaces that you can. I'm looking at this mini-map. Envoy has made the rap of a century. He is about to be in your backside, and you can't say anything about it. A little bit of a pinstripe kill feed will go there. Nasty picks up the EMP device and wants to bring it back towards this southern side. Unfortunately, Gentlemates is still getting those spawns, and we'll be here to play some defense.
Pop mute field from Envoy is going to let him rotate completely for free. No one's going to hear him coming. And like a phantom, lays claim to the device after picking up spot. So 5-1 now. 4. I mean, a reminder that it takes 10 seconds for the device to even spawn. We've got about 30 seconds left before Boston Breach mathematically cannot win this. And Civ has no intention of giving them a look at such victory. Ghosty up over the top, gonna find a route, eventually picked up, and then 3 kills for Boston. Gonna allow them to try and counter, but Paris will be here to defend.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Paris, you're really not worried right now. Boston just trying to maybe find any type of opening. That could be off the back of Purge, who has been able to find a nasty little bit of a flank, and that's until Neptune has been able to cut you on down, but Afro, device in hand. Do you slip on by? You do. You get the kill. You'll get your second, but 40 seconds left on the clock. You still have to move fast.
Yeah, spawns mid-map, you got to be pretty much flawless if you are Boston. You can see the arrows swarming. Envoy on yet another flank play is probably going to shoot you in the back here as you move towards the device. Nasty's going to try and play outside a container. Doesn't matter. We are done, ladies and gentlemen. Paris Gentlemates will go 2-1 up in the series, and a reminder of the growth that they've shown. They lost this map last time out. But it will be a case of Overload coming back to haunt Boston.
Yeah.
And despite Afro's best efforts at 33 and 22, we couldn't really see worse storylines, stat lines, sorry. If you are Boston, never really saw anyone else get going.
Yeah. I mean, that is just heartbreaking to be able to see after such a dominant map #1 Hardpoint. We were excited to see them come back into a respawn here, but the Gentlemates take some time in the break, right? You get to go ahead, kind of breathe, say, hey, we got back into this series. Let's go ahead. Let's come out swinging into this overload. Let's take it and then answer back in a map #4 Hardpoint. Let's end this here. We do not want to go to a Game 5.
No, most certainly do not. And, well, we've got a lot of things to talk about before we even get there. We'll get to the map modes, but yeah, Afro was putting on, to be fair here. I feel for him a little bit. It felt like he needed help out there. So often, Paris finding themselves multiple kills. You're also getting those routes coming in from Envoy, which meant it felt like Boston Breach never had a line set up, whether offensively with some sort of lead blocker play, or whether it be defensively and drawing a line in the sand. No such thing. So Paris looking great here to somehow punch their way through to Saturday. We did not think that was possible about an hour ago.
Nope, we did not. I know everyone was sort of stunned and shocked and awe when Boston were able to win that first series, and not just win it, but win it in a 3-1 pretty solid fashion in order to make it happen. But here we come back into the grudge match, and I think they're taking a lot of those learnings they had from the first series, and now they are starting to apply them here. So if you are Boston, you're looking at this map set, you're looking at this Den Hardpoint, you know that Gentlemates have been beaten on this map before. This is where you get back into the series. You come out hot, you come out swinging, you do what you did in map #1, you are going to have some great momentum heading into that Scar Search and Destroy.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. And of course, the last time these two teams played, Gentlemates lost this Den Hardpoint to be sent into the lower portion of this GSL bracket. So it's a case of making sure that their nightmares do not continue to haunt them here. In that map in particular, Envoy really struggled. So it's a case of, all right, you've got to come out out and do what you did in map 3 here, get off that really hot start. In map 1 as well, you know, despite the struggles of the team across the board, it wasn't just a him situation, and it kind of has got to be the same thing here. He is so often an X factor for Paris. When he's on, he's on. Sometimes he has those games that really bottom out, and that can be the undoing of this roster at times. But up 2-1 now, you're going to be feeling great about the progress you've made, looking to, again, close this out because the Scar S&D, again, the last time we looked at Gentlemates, you didn't manage to do well here. You lost to Notorious, shut down basically by Benjamin Bean's takeover. And you know there's a lot of players on that Boston Breach roster that could do the exact same thing to get there.
That's a good point, my friend. It's a good point, but we got to get through the Den Hardpoint before we even start thinking about a Scar Search and Destroy, because for the Gentlemates, it's just about being able to deliver on this map. Like you mentioned, didn't look so great the last time that you were here, but we could have said the same, obviously, about a couple other maps in this map set. So, hey, they're continuing to surprise us. Definitely cannot count them out. If we see Gentlemates win this in a 3-1, would not be surprised. When I'm looking at the Boston Breach, though, I'm looking at Purge. We talked about it at the end of map number 1. I literally said, I'm like, this guy is either like a 2.0 or a 0.5. Drop some insane numbers. Map number 1 has not been able to do that through sort of the next 2 maps. So this is where I need him to get back into that form that we are looking at, because you need him shooting. You need Afro back in form from that map number 1. Spart and Nasty leading the charge as well. This is going to be a team effort from both sides if you want to take this Den Hardpoint. Now here's the real question though, Andy. Can Boston Breach overcome the pressure? Can they push us to a back-to-back map 5?
Well, despite everything that we heard from Nasty, right, at the end of the qualifier run about how the team definitely is getting better, you probably think that you've shown enough here in this tournament to prove that it won't feel that way once you walk away of a loser here and you basically get dropped out at top 12. It's going to feel like a very bitter pill to swallow. Need a stronger start out of Spart. He was 0-5, I think, in the beginning of the Overlord, so got to see him start to light that kill feed up if Boston are going to force that game 5. Does well to read Neptune in from behind, shuts that flank play down. Paris into the point, but Boston will, of course, have P2 spawns for now.
Really good setup here. Obviously, Gentlemates, you just want to let the kills go their way. How do we push on through, flip these spawns out for the P2 side? Getting a lot of kills going your way. That's a good way to get started. Nasty from that flat area. He's going to at least be able to find one before getting cut on down. Envoy, he'll help line up for 2 and already starting to move on forward. Thankfully, Boston Breach, they're going to read this. They do not let him get into the back, but it's just Afro on this P2 side. And look at the Gentlemates. They're already flying in through the back.
Yeah, you'll find Neptune. You've got Envoy up next and does enough. Afro shuts it all down. We'll have Ghosty for company. And oh my lord, felt like he hit him about 15 times, but Ghosty comes out on top in the end. So Boston, you won't have control of the backside spawns, but the nade goes out. Spart sends up a car bomb.
That is a great way to stop a push, my friend. Drop a nade on one of those cars. Watch that thing explode, but still having the back spawn is the Gentlemates here. Boston, they need to win these gunfights and immediately flood on out. Make sure that they can hold that. Afro, huge 2. Holding on, but there's still close spawns coming in from the Gentlemates. You have to make these trades. You have to stay into the point. 20 seconds remaining. You've managed to make this one mixy. No real solid lead here, but I'm watching Boston come off of the spawn. You have to start thinking about P3.
Certainly do, and that spawn should tell them exactly what Paris have done. Pushed through roof side, now playing in for that P4 setup on throne after this next hill. Mid-map control going to be all important, and Nasty will actually lose the gunfight to Ghosty to assert it. Neptune then, what's your route? It's likely going to be in through mid, but you don't read the broken play, and that's going to hand numbers advantage to Boston.
4 dead in the feed. Boston, they get there early, they find the kills onto the rotation. They reset the Gentlemates here as the point pops on up. And you got 2 players from the Gentlemates trying to push their way on in. It's going to be Envoy, it's going to be Ghosty. And while you're trying to be able to do that through that plat side, the rest of the team comes on through. And well, while Boston was set on up, Paris breaking open.
Nade and SMG combo means we'll see Nasty in about 10 seconds. Neptune just bobbing and weaving here, buying time, gaining information. Envoy's going to try and join him on the front. Nep's just watching the outside, waits for everyone else to fight, finds a route around the outside. Ghosty does well to rip one off a heady and even softens up Purge. So despite the fact that Purge wins this, he's not going to be able to flood it. He's got to wait for his boys to arrive.
Nope, coming off the spawn, you maybe get one last hit. You fly on up to that plat side. Sib is ripping, 10-4. Yeah, Envoy following on up with the 10 and 9 as well. Boston, they'll push through old here, but I'm looking towards that P4. Do you have the throne spawns? Yes, you do. And especially when you're finding some of these kills on rotation. Boston Breach, they can play 2x2. They can flood on in here through the side. It's only 2 members of the Gentlemates on this hill. If you can find the timing, this is huge. You're going to be able to get it. It's only 2 members from the Gentlemates have to flood in through the front.
Yeah, Boston done incredibly well because Gentlemates invested into this play as early as the back end of P2. Reminder, they played in through the north, and well, Boston's Breach decide we don't need anything fancy, we're just going to overwhelm you at Dojo, win all the gunfights, now have Big Hill, and are hunkered down. Nasty just about coming into this, was starting 5 and 10, now 3 in a row, going to get moving. If he can get online and get lighting things up, you're only 30 points behind, it becomes a very different tale soon.
This is a great job for Boston Breach. They win the key gunfights, they make the rotation, they get the money time that they are looking for. You come down to the final sort of moments here at P4. We turn our eyes towards P1. Gentlemates set up. They want these spawns. They need to hold the line. Make sure Boston Breach cannot push on through. Flip those spawns. Hold P2.
Huge fight between Afro and Sip off of our screens here for control over the mid-cut, and Afro's actually going to win it. So despite the fact that you actually lose the opening engagement, better positioning, and now Afro can arrive, kind of funnel those Paris players into one position, and oh my lord, it's a mess though. 3 in the feed for Boston will allow them the point for now, and Nasty's trying to squeeze.
Love this. Nasty, it's a little bit of a shimmy, it's a little bit of a shake that helps us get that one kill, but Ghosty, he's firing, he's shooting. Pinstripe kill feed all the way through. Both teams know how important these spawns are for this P2. P1, it's still stayed mixy here. Gentlemates, you have the lead, but it's only by a small margin. Last time these teams met up, we knew that last hardpoint, it was very, very close, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this den be the same.
Spawn Purge do well there for a while. It just buys time for Nasty to hit a flanking through Dojo's side, but he's not going to win the gunfight against Sib, who feels like he has really come alive inside of this one. 16 and 10, a 4 spree to really start to turn the screw now. They also have P2 spawn control. As I say that, Sib's going to die in mid. There's going to be a dive straight through from Breach. They're going to look to overwhelm this in couches and then punch through.
Oh, a couple of team shots. Come on in there. You soften up your teammate right into Envoy's arms. Thankfully, Nasty, at least we'll be able to cut that one on down, but you've now still opened up the Gentlemates. You're getting those close spawns. You're continuing to hold P2, and this is where you can really start to run away with this if you are Paris. Boston Breach slowly through this backside. You gotta play together. A huge amount of kills coming your way. Nasty, slide on through that P2. A great 2 kills for you. You've now netted the close spawns. You'll keep it mixy for the last 20 seconds that are here, but you have to play for P3.
Yeah, and actually Boston will get a hold of it, so you can start to send bodies on the early rotation here. Paris will have 1 player in place in Sib, who's done a fantastic job thus far. You have no mid-map control and no information, though, if you are Paris. You're gambling on this front hit being what Boston are investing into, and Sib just trying to buy time. Boys, come and help me set up for this.
It's just tax and nades all the way through. Boston trying to invest everything to maybe get some type of opening. Trades will come on through. Ghosty will fill in from the back. You're trying to push out from this cobble side. Do not let Boston Breach on in. Unfortunately, you lose every gunfight that you need to win. 3 members of Breach, they find their way onto P3, and they're gonna get some solid time.
Yeah, huge rotation coming in from Neptune, trying to set up that pinch play. Boys have got to stay alive, and Dojo maybe even find a pick, and that's the goal button. Net finds the kill, the White Owls are gonna surge.
Afro does a great job to find it. Afro and Nasty, they've been so great all series long, but it doesn't matter when you're playing as a duo. All 3 members of the Gentlemates, they're here on the point. They find the kills that they need. They will hold on. Breach doing such a great job of finding themselves just close. They're keeping themselves back on in it. But at the end of the day, the Gentlemates are just doing such a great job of holding on to the time that they need.
Yeah, and every time a Gentlemates player dies right now, they're spawning in front room, basically setting them up for P4. Purge can try and play in through red or potentially through blue here. Yeah, blue is going to be picked up, and all 3 are white in the feed. Nasty last alive, trying to just buy time. Get his boys back into this. You can set up the break attempt. And it looks like they're going to try and push out through the statue side. Envoy's got a lot of work to do, loses the initial.
I like that, though. You have the patience coming on through from Afro and Nasty. Can Nasty find one more? No, you can't. The God of the Seas has awoken. As he is here, finds a solid 2. Boston spawning in. They have to hit this through the front. Can you pull the attention in enough directions to maybe open this one on up? It's 3, they're there, Purge, huge 2-piece. You've gained control of this hill, but you are down 60. It's gonna take a little bit more than 1 to get yourself back into it.
Yeah, Breach have actually done very well here, just punch through the front door, and then they've had 2 or 3 of those moments inside of this map. They've just not overcomplicated things, buddy system, and roll everything over. That being said, Paris across the 200-point mark, you're about 50 points up on your opposition. As we look to the 3rd set of rotations, Envoy's already going to be in place. He cuts off Afro. You will have 1 body inside of this area to contest if you are Boston, but as soon as that is snuffed out, Paris can now start to apply themselves some pressure, but Nasty's done enough, and you will have reinforcements here.
Yeah, Neptune, he just has to stay alive here, and as I say that, will get ripped down. So on this 3rd set, Boston, they're not going to make the same mistake. They want to hold that P2 spawn, but unfortunately, they don't have enough of a point differential to be able to get these points on the P1, so they have to play the P1 and also make sure they're not letting these spawns slip.
Boston going to be aware this is a little bit too quiet, but do you read that Neptune's made the play through to the P2 spawns? You're actually going to find out that 2 players have pushed through Dojo's side and now looking to hit this through mid-cut. Purge's nade will do nothing. Neptune gets there in time and just smash everything wide open and take control of P2 side if you're Paris.
Yeah, 4 dead in the feed. Will flip out the spawns there. 15 seconds on P1. You're going to get a lot of it if you are the Gentlemates, but more importantly, you're going to set yourself up for a great P2 hold. Boston, they'll take the scrap time. They'll take whatever they can at this moment. Gentlemates need to hold. Sib from top broken. Wants to try and catch somebody with a nade here, but it's a nice little 2-2 split. Knife in the hand. You'll slice the throat of Nasty. And Neptune holding the front.
Now find Afro will get supporting from Sib with the pistol at distance, and now just 20 seconds for Paris to see themselves through to Saturday. Boston going to have to throw everything at this. The boys are arriving through the rooftops, and now gunfights will certainly help you flood this. Envoy's got a lot of work on his own shoulders. We'll get support in from Sib's nade.
It is an artillery by hand coming on in from Sib, and he's going to go ahead, flood in through the back. 10 more seconds for the Gentlemates to lock on up in a 3-1. One last effort from the Boston Breach. Neptune somehow walking on air, keeps alive. And well, we called it a grudge match, and I think that was definitely what that was. Gentlemates will get their revenge against the Boston Breach. Not only will they get the win, they will claim the last qualification spot from Group C and make it Saturday.
After being 5-2 down in a Game 5 S&D against Project Notorious, never in a million years would I have expected to be saying that Paris are marching through to Saturday. It's a much better look from Boston coming into this tournament.
Yes.
Unfortunately, just falls short at the final hurdle. Paris on the ascendancy after that win against Notorious. Boston, despite the great map one, as soon as they lost that map two, it felt like the wind was completely ripped out of their sails. No way built back into them. We talk about the way that Den Hardpoint went. Neptune basically had free roam. Felt like he was on endless flanks over and over again, and there was no answer, no creativity out of Boston in terms of shutting down those plays and essentially creating their own. So that'll be all she wrote then. 3-1, Paris Gentlemates. They'll get there just about. Boston Breach, unfortunately, is another